Hello everyone, I hope you all are fine and doing well. In my previous video, I have discussed about basic knowledge on FSSC 22000 where I described that FSSC 22000 includes the three components ISO 22000, PRPs and additional requirements. So in this video, I'm going to describe about PRPs. So PRP stands for Prerequisite Program and it was taken from a standard. So you can see on the right side, I have pasted a technical specific the PRP standard which we call as TS 22002-1. This standard you can also call it as a PRP standard. So what is meant by PRPs? Before going into the details, let's see what is meant by prerequisite program. All the basic conditions and activities that we do throughout the food supply chain to avoid food hazards is called PRPs. I have taken this definition from standard. So this standard, I divide this standard to understand easily into two type of clauses. One is non-auditable clauses, another is auditable clauses. So non-auditable clauses, first three clauses are not auditable. These are scope, normative reference, terms and definition. This is just for your knowledge. And the second part is auditable clauses and all these clauses are auditable. So we will start with the fourth clause which is construction and layout of buildings. This is the fourth clause and it includes three sub clauses which is general requirement, environment and location of establishment. I'm not going to read it word by word, rather I will explain what you need to do to comply with this clause. So let's start. First point that you need to consider is to avoid accumulation of scrap waste in outside area. And if you think it is unavoidable and it is part of your process, then you need to manage it properly. So how you can manage your waste is allocate a specific area for scrap and other waste and dump waste in that area and dump your waste in those containers or designated areas. Then set specific frequency for scrap removal from the facility there and that should be followed accordingly. Waste container should not be overflowed with scrap and if you are doing all above points then you are complying with the requirements. And the second is self-draining roofs. So as you can see in the picture that it's a stagnant water. Why it's stagnant? Maybe it's after rain. Mean the roof is not self-drains. Their level is not maintained. So this should not be the case. You need to make them self-drains to avoid leakage. Now third and fourth point that you need to keep in mind that vegetation shall be tended or removed. So normally we avoid plantation around the plants, but I will recommend to have plantation because we also need to save our environment, but have proper trimming and maintenance of the plants. As you can see in the picture, there is a specific space between the plant boundary and the green belt. So you can keep it in your premises like this, but it should be well maintained and there is no harborage or pest infestation which can harm your product or can be cause of any hazard inside your plant. And the second is your parking areas, yards and roads should be well maintained. And in this picture there are no sheds, but usually in Pakistan we use sheds because of high temperature. So those sheds should be well maintained. There should not be any stagnant water or leakage, and the roads should be clearly marked. This is one example how can you maintain plants along with the your factory without damaging the premises. And this is the second example where there is a clear boundary. They maintain the fence and then outside the fence they maintain the plantation. It is a very good idea which you can do both practices at same time. You can save your environment and also save your product from the contamination or any hazard from the plants inside the premise. So these are the requirements that you need to comply. Now I will share with you what are the documents and records for clause 4 that you need to maintain to comply with the requirements. So first you need a SOP or standard operating procedure, and you do not need a designated procedure only for this class. Rather you need to make one procedure called as PRPs and you can include all clauses inside the PRP. I will share the format once we are done with all PRPs discussions in different videos. First document is procedure. Second is you need to maintain records as an evidence, and you need to make these clause as a part of the audit checklist, so that can be used for the monitoring of your environment, for the monitoring of the premises. And then you need to keep the records of the audits. And fourth is water, waste and scrap removal evidences, for example gate pass, which we usually use for the waste management. Below I mentioned some points that you can use to audit your premises internally during internal audits, maybe monthly audits, to maintain your facility. So first point is vegetation properly maintained, trimmed and tended. And the second point is there any dedicated area for scrap and waste, and it is labeled. Is scrap and waste area overflow with the scrap or waste? Is scrap and waste area cleared as per set frequency? Check the relevant records or document from waste vendor or the person who is responsible for handling the records for waste management. And then you need to check during your audits, internal audits, is there any stagnant water on roofs after rain, or maybe any detail cleaning, and is roof clean and no damage observed. So here what I meant by cleaning, that sometimes the drains clog with vegetation and mud, so this should not be the case. Drains should be clear all the time. And the seventh is any uncontrolled activities inside or along the boundaries. You need to check all these points. Once all these points are covered, that means you are complying with this requirement. So this is all about the clause 4, and we are done with our video today. And in the next video I will come up with the next PRP. Thank you for watching my video. Please hit like and subscribe my channel. Keep watching and share with your friends. Thank you so much.